Hey up, Cock. Today we're going to rank the rivalries in English football. Now, I have not made this tier list, but there's a load on here, so if there's some missing, take it up with tierlist.com. I've got lights all red for violence. Like I said, there's definitely going to be some missing, but I'm looking at about 60, so if it's not there, it can't be that good, seriously. The categories I've got are grow up, alright, good, naughty, and serious. Shit. And I'm not going bottom to top, I'm just going to go as it comes up. Stoke and Port Vale first is comfortably one of the best ones in this country. I will not hear any different. Just because people look at Port Vale and think they're not a massive side, in terms of pure arrests and violence or meter, this has got to be near the top. And you're going to see it a lot throughout this video, but I don't think a lot of intercity derbies are actually that good. People go from being mates, 350 days a year to then hating each other twice. And then you go back to work on Monday and you're happy again. I don't buy it a lot of time. But this one is... Stoke Port Vale is comfortably one of the best derbies in this country. Huddersfield and Leeds. Now, I wonder how many times Leeds have actually on it. Well, I can see Hull, Bradford. Who else is it? There's not them and Man United. Right, okay, so we're going to take this with a pinch of salt, because Leeds and Man United is their biggest derby, obviously. Leeds, where a lot of the Yorkshire sides just don't care. Like, it depends who you ask, because Leeds are that big, so obviously they've got that many fans, it depends who you ask. Some people might not give a monkeys about Huddersfield. Some people might like Huddersfield that are Leeds fans. It's just so up in air. But as far as Leeds goes, with sides round here, because they like to pretend that the mates with Chelsea and them boys under Leeds, I think this is one of the better ones. Leeds and Huddersfield. Like, the Bradford's okay as well. Hull's not. Hull's same equivalent to Chuffing Barnsley. At the end of the day, Leeds don't care about the majority of sides, or they pretend that they don't. But when it comes to it, that is a good game, Huddersfield and Leeds is. Burnley and Blackburn. This is such a dodgy one. This is in that little grey area, or I probably need another tier at middle. I'm gonna put it in serious. It's a very good one. I'm not doubting that for a second. Burnley and Blackburn is a very good one. Is it the same as Stoke and Port Vale? Personally, I would say no. So maybe I'll rank it like 1 to 10 or whatever if I get so many in serious. But that is still a very good, and Burnley and Blackburn is. Forest Green and Cheltenham. Accrington, Stanley and Morecambe. Come on, man. Norwich and Ipswich. If anybody's ever seen the photo of the segregation at Norwich and Ipswich, I'm not bothered if there's a big sheet there or there's a gap, if there's a big divider. If that were Stoke or Port Vale, for example, they would still have 3 thick lines of coppers going down it. This, to me, I genuinely think I'm doing it quite a good job by having it above Accrington, Stanley and Morecambe. Ipswich and Norwich, nah. If you support either of these two sides, I'm very sorry, but no, I'm not having it. Forest and Derby is my first naughty. Very good, again, but there's so many sides around these two sides. I think if it's like, this is obviously their best game, like Forest and Derby, this is obviously the main game. But Derby have got bits where some of Sheffield sides, for example, Forest have got Notts County. They've all got so many different sides around them. This is obviously the big game, but I think when there's that much other stuff around, that it's just not as good, personally. Like these two, all these two care about is each other. Blackburn and Burnley, maybe not to that level or extent. I think Stoke and Port Vale is, I'm maybe gassing it up a little bit too much, because I think it is one of the best ones. And Forest and Derby is a good one as well, but I don't think it's on the same level as serious ones. We can probably fly through a couple of these. Macclesfield and Crewe, I'll probably stick in alright. It's definitely better than them. And seriously, that just shows what I think about Ipswich and Norwich, if I'm being honest. I do think there's a lot of the smaller sides, like Oldham and Rochdale, for example. Two smaller teams. Oldham a decent club, but Oldham and Rochdale, for two non-league sides this season, that's a serious game. Some of these little northern shitholes have got so much more going for them than big city ones. What am I seeing? Who's made this? Sunderland and Carlisle. I might just leave that down there. See, Arsenal and Spurs. Oh, Arsenal and Spurs. I'll put it in naughty. I mean, it's not on the same stratosphere as, again, I'm using Stoke and Port Vale as a benchmark as one to beat. It's not even close to that. But I do think Arsenal and Tottenham, some of big clubs get a bad rep just based on amount of tourists that they've got on a week to week. But Arsenal and Tottenham is a good game. Villa and Cov, that's more of an alright one, in it. Again, it's probably not even in like top 3 games for Villa, I want to thought, but there's still a bit of something there. Bolton and Tranmere, probably have it in the same one. Salford aren't real, so I'll put them there. Bolton and Bury, well, that will battle who could go bust first. So these days, obviously, it's down here. But it will probably up there at one point, but I will put it down there, respectfully. Port Vale and Crewe. Port Vale are just nasty bastards, you know. More just deep it. I just have to put them in there. There's a couple serious ones coming up here. Preston and Blackpool, straight in naughty. Again, it's each other's biggest game. And I think that just counts for something on its own, apart from Ipswich and Norwich. Preston and Blackpool, two like similarly sized clubs. They're not like raking in 20,000 plus a week, but they're in the special area of clubs. They are big, small teams, Preston and Blackpool are, and I think that's proper clubs, lads. It's a good game, that. I do like watching that one when it's on. Watford and Luton has never done it for me. Obviously, it's a southern game, innit? So people in and around London and Watford might think this is much bigger than Preston and Blackpool, for example. But living it north, this has never done that much for me. It's obviously going to be a naughty game, and the two sides that probably rank quite high on the rest charts, especially Luton. But I will stick it in good. I think them three, maybe that... Just the big club badges put me off straight away, thinking it could be something good. But them three are better than that, I would say. Scunny and Grimsby's a good one, you know. I'm going to put that in there. Scunny and Grimsby's a good game. Swindon and Reading, again, is this just like Northern tax taking over? Maybe. But I'll... Nah, I'm not even getting any pity points out. I'm putting that one there. Wait, the more I'm looking at this, is Millwall West Ham? Oh, yes, there. I'm going to say. Bristol, straight at top. Again, one of the only intercity ones that I think belongs right at the very top. They don't play each other that much anymore, which is sad. And that I feel like that can take into account your ratings as well. But at the same time, Millwall and West Ham don't play each other ever. And that is comfortably one of the best games in the country again. Bristol Derby's naughty, you know. People look at Bristol as some nice little place, which it is. But from things I've heard, obviously, of it years, from my dad's day and other people's day, these aren't nice clubs. That'll be something like that when they play each other. Millwall and Gillingham Grove. Plymouth and Exeter is quite a good one, you know. It's not serious, obviously, but it's quite a game, that. I might stick it in there. Again, people look at like certain clubs and think just nothing of them just based on the badge. Like, who looks at Plymouth and think, yeah, that's going to be a naughty game, that one is. But that, even from like players that have played for these sides before. I watched a podcast and I forgot what it's called, but a Plymouth lad were on there before saying it's mental. He's played in some, I forgot who it were, but he said he played in something like other games that you'd say at biggest, and this just completely eclipses it. So I will have it in naughty. I'm still not having it with Stoke and Port Vale. That is seriously, I'm still yet to find one that even scratches surface on that game. Swansea, Newport, less said the better. Forest and Leicester. I mean, it's a good game, but it's the second teams again, innit? If that. Like, Leicester are obviously flirting with Coventry. Forest have got Derby and a load of other sides and Notts County. I'll put it in there because it's still got a bit of spice where this ones have just got nailed. Leeds and Hull, again, I'll probably stick that in alright. Thing is, I'm going to use this as a token for Leeds with a lot of Yorkshire sides that are fairly close to them. Wednesday, Sheffield United, Barnsley, Hull, I'd say are all at the same level with Leeds, whereas Huddersfield and Bradford have got like a little bit more. From personal opinion, obviously, if you ask a Leeds fan, depending on which one you ask, I'm going to have a different answer for you. But I'd say that's a token for Leeds versus Yorkshire, that one. Because they do think they are much bigger than they are. They think they belong with Chelsea and all them who just couldn't care less about them. That'll get a couple of them. Leyton Orient and Southend. How that's a thing, I don't know, but I'll put that on there. City and Liverpool. If we take into account the games themselves, you've got to have a little bit of something there, haven't you? But it's just too... I'm not going into it. It's just two big touristy games in it. And I think Arsenal-Tottenham's got miles more about it than this one has, from like a fan perspective and how much they actually hate each other. Both of these, it's a who hates Man United more competition. Fleetwood and Blackpool. This is honestly equivalent to like Leeds versus Harrogate. I've got to get some. There's got to be something there, surely. Hull and Grimsby, I'd probably stick on this one as well, just based on that area of country I wouldn't want to mess with, personally. Walsall and West Brom, like, this might come across as horrible, but does anybody look at Walsall from around Midlands area and think, I really don't like you? I think a lot of teams and fans, because obviously I interact with football fans every day, and a lot of them, from my perspective, think that Walsall, they actually quite like them. It's like a bit of a second team thing going on with there. I'm going to have to put it there, I'm sorry. Cambridge and Peterborough against Southern attacks, but I'm trying to take that out of my equation. Like, I'm trying to be neutral, and I think I have been so far. Like, look, I've got Plymouth in here, Bristol, some at London lads. Like, I'm not just going heavy north, but I will give this one probably in there. It's got something about it. Middlesbrough and Sunderland. This is another one of them tricky zones where Sunderland obviously hate Newcastle, and that's the main game, and then they'll pretend that they're not bothered about Middlesbrough in turn, but they obviously are. It's one of the. It's in that clump of games. I know what people are about to say as well, but it's in that clump of games. I think it's quite good from when I've seen it before. I mean, there's nothing on here that's screaming at me as thinking, "Wow, that's mad." Maybe I could stick Leeds versus a lot of like Yorkshire sides and. No. I'll keep it there for now. I might change it later on. But Middlesbrough Sunderland, I think it's a good game. Same as this one, Millwall Charlton next up. I cannot. This is the same thing. Millwall's main game is West Ham. But Charlton and Millwall is a good game. It always has been. Again, it's two big little clubs in it. Like, maybe I'm doing a disservice to Charlton there. But Millwall are one of the biggest little clubs going. I'm putting that in good as well. I think that's a good game. You know what? I'm going to fiddle with something a little bit. I'm going to put that in there for Leeds versus some Yorkshire sides. I might move. I'll rank them as it goes on. But that's a top end of this tier, and that's near bottom, I'd say. Villa Birmingham. See, I keep saying about like intercity ones not being that good, but they're all taking top spots. So what am I actually on about? Actually, as this goes on, I am going to change it, but Villa and Birmingham is a very good one. It's like some bloke ran on pitch and punched Grealish. You're not getting that anywhere else. Millwall West Ham, comfortably one of, I would probably argue, top 3 games in this country, West Ham Millwall. And people immediately jump to Green Street and Football Factory and all that shit, which has overhyped this game to a new level. But at the end of the day, how do you judge how much two teams hate each other, really? If we're being serious, arrest charts, and these two are near top. We're defining rivalries here, and the game itself does play a part, but how much two fan bases hate each other to core, you can't look much further than them. Bolton and Man United, I think, once was a bigger deal than it is now. Obviously, when Bolton were constantly in Premier League in like mid-table, a Kocha vibe, this were better than what it once were. But Man United, modern day Man United fans, I don't think could get a toss about Bolton. I do think it's better than some of these, but it's not on the same level like Millwall Charlton, for example. That is one of the heaviest one-sided ones I've seen ever. Man United and Oldham, again, maybe at one point, like 90s, when Oldham were in and around this. Yeah, but now there's 5 leagues separating them, for God's sake. Like, well, 4 now, but I can't have that in there. It's probably another one, this. You know, like West Ham and Leyton Orient is a big example of this. I think a lot of Man United fans, match-going fans, if they're going away and they can't go, I think the ones that truly love football might go to somebody like Oldham. Like West Ham do with Leyton Orient. There's a lot of them like friendly vibes that people might class as a rivalry, but I don't think is, and that's one of them. Still say it does belong in there. Like, seriously, it does. I personally know people that were fans of one club and swapped to another one. Hello? I'm not going to sit here and talk about it for 3 hours, but the fact that you can sit and be mates with each other every day, year apart from 2, and then immediately snap back and be fine, makes no sense to me. But just for like the history of the game itself and football originating from there, I will put it in the serious category with great reluctancy. Leeds and Bradford's quite a good one. Again, I'll probably stick it in there. Don't play each other as much now as they once did. Obviously, when Bradford were up in dizzy heights in Premier League for a little bit, or a Championship side for a long time, but being in League 1 and 2 for as long as they have. In fact, yeah, no, it's got to be. If that's in there, that's got to be in there. Crawley Wimbledon, I'm not even entertaining that one. Wigan and Bolton. See, again, Wigan are just like, they get 6,000 fans at home, don't they? So how serious can you actually take this? But that's quite a good game. Like, they might not turn out on a day-to-day, but at Bolton, I've seen Wigan take 4K there many a time. And the actual game itself, if we're taking that into account, the game itself is good most of the time when I watch this. I think a lot of people look at Wigan and just immediately make their mind up on this, that this is crap. But everything included, I think that's quite a good one, Wigan and Bolton is. Ah, you can comment. I can't win. I literally could put this in any category, and I guarantee people will moan. So I'm going to stick with my guns on what I actually think this is, which I think is a good one. I'm not taking piss and putting it up here, but this has got so much more about it than everything below here. Is it Wednesday's biggest game? No. But I think it's same category as Middlesbrough-Sunderland, where they like to pretend that it means no until it gets to it, and they actually do. And some of the things I've seen at this game are ridiculous. They used to let you walk over train lines for Barnsley games, so you walk straight out at town centre, straight to ground, over some train lines. And some of the things that happened in this game one year, and I'm going to keep my gob shut on specifics, but the things that have led from court cases, from things that have happened in this game, specifically that one where they were fighting on train lines when barriers come down, I'm just going to leave it there and move on. Shrewsbury and Walsall. Shrewsbury's such a nice place. Shrewsbury haven't got anything about them, surely to God. Respectfully, I'm going to put it in this one. Cardiff and Swansea. Ding, ding, ding. I mean, if I'm rallying them straight at top already and I rank them seriously, then it's right up at top. This is one at best ones. I'll stick it there for now, and I might organise them later on when I get to it. But Cardiff and Swansea, comfortable one at best in this country by a mile. Donny and Rotherham. See, it's their biggest games. I'll probably stick it in there. It has got a bit of something about them. I think Rotherham have just shot up in rankings and what people actually think of them in the last, like, 10, 15 years, as opposed to what they've always been, Rotherham, which is like a League 2 non-leaguer. Donny, like from a completely neutral standpoint, I could not care less about either of these two sides. I quite like them both, if I'm being honest. But Donny are much bigger than Rotherham, and Rotherham get a bit chirpy from an outsider's view. But I think it is quite a good game, that, honestly. Same as Mansfield and Lincoln, I'm going to stick that in there as well. MK Dons and Wimbledon. See, the backstory and the lore behind this game is right to the very top. But MK Dons aren't real. They've got... If we're being completely serious, how many fans have MK Dons got? 3,000 max? How can we take this game that serious? It is one of the absolute best. But just based on the fact that only one of these clubs is actually real, I'm going to have to stick it in naughty, respectfully. Stevenage and MK Dons, I'm not even entertaining that one. Another big dog. Saints and Pompey. Again, probably one that doesn't get as much credit as it deserves. Comfortably one at best in this country. Now we're starting to see what I'm on about, though. Blackburn and Burnley, Cardiff and Swansea, Southampton and Portsmouth. Out of city rivalries, but they're still the main game. These people do not interact with each other, ever. Ever. And then twice a year they do. They're not going for pints with each other in a week. The families aren't interconnected. They're all supporting different sides and pretend they don't like each other. That is real. Swindon and Oxford. I'm not going to lie, I ain't got a clue. Oxford have got a little bit of something, but I ain't got a clue, to be honest. I'll put it in there. Palace and Brighton. I mean, it gets a lot of flack. And to be honest, rightfully so. This is the most similar game to Ipswich and Norwich I've probably ever seen. And if you understand what I'm saying, that's such a... I don't know. I just think it's very similar in terms of what people think of that game. West Brom and Wolves, one of the best ones, again, easily. We're getting there now. We're understanding where I'm coming from. QPR and Chelsea. I'll put it there. Colchester and Southend, I'll get something. I'll put it in all right. Man United and Liverpool, historically, it is one of the biggest games. It probably is the biggest game in this country in terms of stature of the game, location. They're each other's biggest games. Everything about it, that is the best game in this country, I would say. From an outsider's perspective, I think Man United and Liverpool is the bar. And then complete other way, I don't know what to think about Everton and Liverpool. Because it's very similar to Steel City. They're all friendly with each other 24/7. These sit with each other in stands. Like, at least Steel City don't do that. These are a little bit too pally for my liking. But then, especially the games at Goodison, there's a lot going on there. I'm going to put it in there. I'll put it in the naughty. Chelsea and Fulham's quite a good one. Like, mid-2000s when Fulham were a very good side and they were storming pitch and fighting up pitch. So there's something about that one. But again, people look at Fulham and don't take them seriously. And rightfully so. But that is a good game. Lincoln and Grimsby. I'll probably stick that in all right as well. Where did I have Grimsby Scunny? Yeah, Grimsby Scunny's got more about it than that one. I would think. Maybe I'm wrong. Grimsby fans can tell me. But I would think out of Grimsby's main attractions... Caterpillar ride at Cleethorpes, I would say Scunny's the number one, then Lincoln, then Hull, if I were ranking them in that order that he's given me. Southampton and Bournemouth, I'm going to have to put that one in Grope, respectfully. Northampton and Peterborough, probably the same thing. Oh, maybe I might give that one a bit of something up there. Shall I? Well, when I look at the other games, I'll give that a little bit of something. Bury and Rochdale, that's a good game. We'll put that one straight up. It's annoying me that I ain't got Oldham and Rochdale on here. That'd be serious. There are some missing, aren't there? So I'll apologise. But I'm not going and finding them all. I'm dealing with the cards that have been dealt. But Oldham and Rochdale is one that's missing and would definitely go in this category as well. Wycombe and Colchester. Why Colchester on so many? Colchester Colchester not like down and out at where? Like south east. Why are Wycombe with that side? I don't know. I'm putting it in goal. Burton and Port Vale, I'm not even entertaining that one. Sunderland and Newcastle, again, one of the big dogs. And then I'll probably have West Ham and Tottenham in naughty. To see it off. I'm going to change them all around and rank them. So this might take a while, but I'm going to skip to like when it's done. I'm only going to change good upwards. Right, I've changed good. So I've got Millwall and Charlton at top, and I've changed all these ones. The only thing I'm struggling with at the minute is, like, obviously if I use that as a token for Leeds versus alt sides that they're actually bothered about in Yorkshire, is that a bigger game than this? They're probably the same, honestly, but it is. Then for naughty, I would probably have Preston and Blackpool as top and then work its way down like that. And then for serious ones, how many have I got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11. Shall I drop one down and then make a top 10? We'll do it. Moving on. Am I taking piss there as well? Like, if I'm being completely serious, are these games all bigger than Steel City? I'm seriously struggling to find one. Like, honestly. Oh, this ain't gonna go down well though, is it? If I do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So 10th, I'm gonna put Bristol, the Bristol Derby in 10th. 9th, Burnley Blackburn. God, this is hard. This is really tough. 8th, Villa Birmingham. This is so hard. Seriously, I've just been sat here staring for a minute. This is very difficult. 7th, West Brom Wolves. This is so difficult. This is literally toss or a coin for a lot of these. So don't take it to heart if I've got yours 10th, because it's still top 10. Southampton Portsmouth in at 6. Stoke Port Vale at 5. I'm going to go West Ham Millwall at 4. Cardiff Swansea at 3. Sunderland Newcastle at 2. And the best derby in this country for me, Man United and Liverpool. Just complete stature at games, size at clubs, how much they hate each other, the lot. That would be my top 10. But this is where I'm at. Serious, naughty, good, alright, and grow up. That is my derbies ranking. Like I said, obviously there's some missing, but I can't remember off the top of my head a million different games. So I'm going to have to just stick with that and hope for best. Let me know your top 5 though. If you comment it down below, I will genuinely read through like probably 99% of the comments. So while you're down there and you're commenting, can you like, subscribe as well? It does me a great deed. Thank you as always, boys. Love you all for watching. Thank you. Send a bit goodbye kiss. And you ready?
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.